This is the Wax Leaf Honeysuckle, which is an evergreen honeysuckle that is usually sheared into a formal hedge, or maybe a round shrub. But I'm going to try to let mine grow more vertically, actually train it to grow more vertically. It wants to branch sideways. And I'm not really going to shear it, I'm just going to selectively prune it to keep it going vertical. So far, there's been several frosts here that got into the 20s Fahrenheit, obviously. And it has a little bit of purplish coloration on a few of the leaves, but overall looks pretty good. By the way, the Latin name is Lonicera nitida, and I got this from coniferkingdom.com. Here's another box leaf honeysuckle. This one came in the same shipment when Conifer Kingdom sent me a pot of this. They were actually two separate plants in one pot, so I separated them and let them grow over the summer separately, and now I've planted them in two separate locations. I'm not expecting this to get very tall, so I've put it next to some trees that I don't want it to block the sun from. For example, this one is next to the Chihuahuan spruce here. So I know it's not going to be growing super fast and blocking the sun on my Chihuahuan spruce. Here's another broadleaf evergreen that I just got into the ground. This is the silverberry. Latin name is elaeagnus pungens. And you can see it's looking pretty good now in mid-December. This one actually was frozen back pretty hard, I guess, to the ground this last winter during the -4 cold spell. And everything you see above ground now is new growth during the 2023 growing season. So it does grow fast. I'm also going to try to trim this one into more or less a vertically trended small bush or tree. Small tree or large bush, I should say. And I've got it in a mostly sun location. I believe I may have purchased this one at Lowe's, actually. I did have another one that I purchased from Wilson Brothers, but it didn't survive the frost. One more broadleaf evergreen that I've got in the ground now is the Wax Leaf Privet. It is ligustrum japonicum. I believe this is the recurvifolia cultivar, but this one also froze back to the ground completely. And when the normal foliage started to grow, it doesn't really look the same as it did before. I almost wonder if there was a graft point somewhere on this little bush or tree, and everything above the graft point may have died, and you can see it sent a new shoot up from the roots. So maybe this is just plain old generic wax leaf privet, which I would be totally fine with. So it's holding up against several frosts we've had now, temperatures in the 20s, and there's a little bit of discoloration on some of the most exposed leaves, but I have it tucked away a little bit where it's protected.